Excellent, boss. Well, I am very much looking forward to the opportunity, the chance that I have to speak and talk with you today. I feel like this is going to be great just to be able to talk with one another, to look at some of these points, especially in the rapid growth that we've been having here domestically. And I feel like now is a great time to be able to take this approach even more internationally as well. So I've broken some numbers down for you, been able to put those together. We're going to be able to go ahead and look at those, talk about a few different ideas, strategies, approaches that we can take. But overall, just grateful that we can kick it back today and reflect on some of these things. So the first thing that I would like to touch upon here with you is why now? And why I feel like now is a great time as our growth has been strong, but we're starting to plateau just a little bit in where we could be headed in the direction that we should be headed. At the same time, we've already invested heavily in R&D, which gives us a product pipeline that can be adopted to the needs, especially when it comes to meeting the global needs. And so meanwhile, our competitors are getting way more aggressive when it comes to the international market. Embotech's gains in Asia, Smart Life in South America have seen great success. And really, I think it's at the point where if we wait too long, if we take too much time, we are going to be playing catch up for years to come. And we don't want to be in that position. We want to be what I would consider a more proactive position. And so the international markets where they are growing fast, I think it's a good place to make a move, a good place for us to step in. And as long as we're smart, we can definitely find success through doing so. I know a big thing that we've talked and we've discussed about is, well, how are we going to do this? What approach are we going to take? And so what I would consider to be maybe not the best, but a very good option for us is phase one would focus on market research and building relationships. So we would break it down into different phases, whether that's distribution partners, local marketing support, or even focusing on things like compliance consultants. We could focus more on those local partnership. Phase two is where we would start to tailor launches in Asia, maybe a budget-friendly smart home bundle, and then looking more at the Europe side of things, our sustainability messaging could take the lead there. Then we could just step back, measure the work that's been done, and either we could double down or we could pivot based on the results that we are seeing. And then we could do a third phase there as well, which would just include what I just mentioned on briefly, focusing more on evaluating success, scaling, revising, changing the things that we need to do. And so I think that would be a great approach, kind of breaking it down into the three phases going into the next year, breaking those down, starting off on a strong foot, but really making sure that we take things carefully and from a strategic standpoint as well. From our team's perspective, boss, we would definitely be in the thick of this. I would say most definitely. The product would need to adjust SKUs for the new regions, especially. We'd be expanding into Europe. They're a lot stricter when it comes to energy compliance, and Asia is definitely more price sensitive on the amount of money and the price that they would like to spend. And so we just have to look into the markets, definitely something that we could work through and work out there as well. Marketing will have to develop messaging by region, which might mean translation, but also a tone and value shift as well. We have lots of employees that speak different languages, so I think that we could touch upon that without a problem. And on the opposite side, we need to figure out logistics. That would be a huge thing. Shipping, service coverage, returns, how we are going to make sure all that is worked out so that it doesn't become a problem for us down the road. So if we go and looking at the bigger picture, we'll kind of know the things that are important for us to be ready so that when we do touch and when we do hit into these markets, we're ready to go and we're not finding ourselves in rabbit holes that we're stuck in. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but of course there are real risks. Overextending ourselves is definitely a big one. Trying to grow too fast and getting sloppy. Brand drift is another that could take place. And I don't want to get so focused on adapting that we forget what makes us us. I think it's important that we focus on our customer service. And even though we're launching in unfamiliar markets, we could easily do so in a way that can be effective. But if we're not ready and we're not prepared, we could definitely find us tripping as well if we aren't ready for what's ahead. One thing that I've definitely kept coming back to a lot is just our core values overall. Expanding shouldn't just be about revenue. I think it has to stay consistent with the things that we've done domestically as well. So that's focused again on our innovation, our integrity, the sustainability, and the quality that we are also going for. These are values that we hold dear to the organization, to our employees, to what we've created. And I think that we still need to have these be the focus, especially as we transition and go over into other markets as well, being that outside of the US, that we still hold these values with us as we expand, as we bring on new employees, as we continue to offer the great product and service that we have, that we live up to the expectations that we've created. So from here, I'd really love for you to take over where things feel doable, maybe some of the challenges that you see, maybe even some of the things that you would tweak. Specifically, I'd want your help aligning this with realistic timelines and understanding how this expansion might affect our current brand width. I think that's kind of the important aspect of where you should really get involved to making sure that this gets executed in the way and definitely with the standards that you are after as well. And just based on experience, I'd love your thoughts on which pilot markets make the most sense. These definitely are two, Europe, Asia, that I feel we could have a very winnable experience. We could have good management there. They could be very manageable. And if there's nothing I've missed, I'm really all ears to you, boss, to hear what you would like to do and how you would like to shift what I've presented here. If I'm being completely honest for myself, and I know we'll continue to talk a lot, we'll definitely continue to work things as we go back and forth with one another, trying to execute this in the best way possible. But I definitely see this at a turning point. I see this at a point where if we just stay still, then we're going to get to the point, as I mentioned, where we plateau out, where we're not going to see really growth in any direction. We're just going to be moving straight forward, which is definitely not the approach that we want to take. But if we're willing to see that this is a turning point, and if we're willing to look ahead and see the future, which I know who you are, and I know the mindset that you have, I know that this is something that we can definitely have success in, as we view this as a turning point and as an opportunity for real growth that we can control. If we take the time to plan everything out and align it with the values, we can control the success that we will have, and we can do so in a very positive way. So if we continue with purpose and if we continue with this plan, we can definitely have success. But now I'm open to you, I'm open to your questions, and we can just sit here and kind of work through those things, those questions that you have, so that we can execute this in the best way possible.